Alright, so today we are going to be working on replacing the fuel pumps on our 94 F150. These have twin fuel tanks, so there are actually two fuel pumps. The procedure does involve removing the bed, which, you know, sounds pretty intense, but actually is relatively straightforward. The key thing is the bed bolts, which you got right here and over there. And then you got four of them. One there, one there, one there, and one there. And all of these we've been soaking with PB Blaster. We actually started soaking these a little while ago just to get us a head start and make sure that we could, you know, have the easiest time of removing them. And if you haven't used PB Blaster, I absolutely swear by this stuff, especially working on the 59 Chevy. That thing was very rusty, and it made that a lot easier. So, as you can see, up under here, got the nut, and the top is more of a carriage bolt style. So all you gotta do is basically crack this bad boy and remove it. Like I said, you got one over there. And then further forward, here we go. Oh. Oh, look. That looks like it's been there a while.
That's random. Is that on the truck?
Yep. So anyway, basically, you want to crack the 6 nuts that go with the bed bolts. Oh, I went the wrong direction. The other ones are further back. That's why I'm not seeing them. There we go. Yeah, back there. Probably see it right up in there. So, once you get those off, there's just a couple little connections that you have to undo for like the lights and all that. And you'll probably want to remove the tailgate as well. And then you and some buddies lift the bed off, and you're on your way to replacing the fuel pumps. So we are going to get started on this, and we'll show you some next steps. So James is underneath with a 3/4 inch socket on a 1/2 inch drive, and we are using a breaker bar, since most likely on your truck these things are going to be at least a little bit rusted. Again, the PB Blaster should help, and if you have a notable buildup, you may also want to use a wire brush on the threads to try and clear off any physical debris that might be in the way. You may also need an extension with a wobble. It does look like there may be a slight angle to the approach on these as well. Alright, so another interesting note on this. We actually tried using 12-point sockets like this, and even though we found the right size, it was actually a little bit of play, both on a 19mm and on a 3/4. But moving over to a 6-point socket, like this guy here, provided the grip that it needed. So James is currently under there, just cracking the next ones with the breaker bar. And once we get those started, then we're going to come back and we're going to finish them off using one of the kind of power ratchets just to get them the rest of the way off. Alright, so while James is working on those bed bolts, inside of your filler caps here, you have 3 bolts around each of the filler necks, and basically just want to remove those. I say bolts, they're screws, and these are going to be, in this case, 9/32 inch. Tried a 6mm and it was too small, and I tried an 8mm and it was too large, so I am guessing that possibly a 7mm might work, but that being said, 9/32 seems to do a good job. So and we'll work on freeing up the six screws in the front and rear filler caps, and then a few more things to disconnect. Next up, you're going to be removing the tail lights, which is just these 2 Phillips head screws here on the outside, and I'm pretty sure these 2 Phillips head screws here on the inside, kind of coming in from this way. So I'm going to take a stab at removing these, And once these are out, I'm sure there's just going to be a couple little plugs I can undo, and we'll have that ready. All right, so a little bit of effort, but this is what you're removing. These are the carriage bolts that go through the bed. They also go through the box section of the bed, and then usually through the frame, and then there's a nut, this big guy here, on the underside. As predicted, they fight you a little bit. What we found actually with ours is the carriage bolt head actually will potentially waller out inside of the bed. So we are actually using a set of vice grips and a breaker bar to hang on to the carriage bolt head. That way we can actually get some leverage on it. So that being said, we're going to finish out the last two bolts here, and we'll get back in a sec. Okay, so once you have taken the bed bolts out, as we mentioned, removing the tail lights, which is just the 4 screws in these locations here. You have your standard bulb holders, one top and one bottom, and they are just the regular twist and remove style, so real straightforward. After that, there are 5 of these little plastic plugs on the underside here. So there's going to be 2 that are relatively outboard, and then 3 that are relatively central that you need to pop. And there's also 1 up in here that you need to free up as well on each side. So a total of 7 of those. Once you free those up, then you need to thread the harness, which I've already started doing, carefully back down through this hole here. And that will let you get the harness out of the way of the bed so that you don't jack anything up while you're removing it. So I'm gonna keep freeing this up, and I'll let you know what else we find. All right, so we managed to get the bed off. The removal was actually pretty straightforward once we got everything out. Yeah, it really was just the filler necks, the harness, and the 6 main bolts that you have to worry about. As long as you're slow and steady with those and just make sure everything's removed properly, should be relatively straightforward. So this is what we're working with for now. And we were able to lift the bed off with just 2 people, and this is a long bed. You know, I think obviously it would be safer with more people, you know, so if you have back trouble or anything like that, definitely don't try and overdo yourself, because the thing is heavy. But also, I am not a super strong person, you know, so in general, if you're not in rough shape and you lift carefully, 2 guys can do it. So that being said, we're gonna get under here and do some cleaning. But most importantly, we'll be replacing the fuel pumps in both tanks. And yeah, that should be coming in a separate part of the video. So I guess we're gonna just kind of do a little bit of tidying up for now, and we'll catch back up as we start to do the fuel pump swap.
All right, well, I got a little carried away here, as seems to be kind of normal. I've actually already done the rear tank, and we weren't having any issues with the front pump, but the fact that the bed's off, you know, this part's like 50 bucks. May as well just replace both and know that we're good to go for a long time. So, gotta have this little handy quick disconnect tool. I think it was 10 bucks from the auto store. Basically, they just slide in here and release the fuel fitting. Pretty straightforward to do, and it all came out pretty easily. I will note, actually, before I go to the back, that you can see my tank's a little rusty around here. I found the best way to release this was actually at these locking points. So there's, what, 5 of them here. I just use a big screwdriver and just hit right in front of them. And by doing that, that just released any rust buildup that was between the locking ring and these tabs. And then it drifted out pretty easy. So we'll just come over here. And here we have the old setup. Again, this is an original Ford one, nothing really wrong with it. And then I got the new one here. I think this is a CarQuest one. Like I said, it was like 50 bucks, maybe a little less. So yeah, I'm just gonna swap this guy into here, get this reinstalled, and then we'll move on to the fuel filter. And then that way we know the entire fuel system's good to go. So I'll set up the camera and we can see the assembly process. Alright, well that didn't take too long. Installation is super easy. Just got to note this is kind of like a little locking ring here. So you just have to push this down on the old pump as you pry these tubes out, and that releases this whole upper assembly. Then it's just the 3 screws here for the sending unit, and it also holds this pipe assembly on at the same time. I cut the wires from the old pump up here. I cut them long, and then this comes with a nice long loom as well, and then that gives me plenty of time to route them and then crimp them with the supplied crimp connectors. So yep, super straightforward. So I'm going to move on to getting this in the tank now. Alright, so there you have it. Didn't really take too long. Just sort of have to get the rotation correct, just so the pump sits in there properly. But beyond that, you're just really repeating the removal procedure. These guys right here just push right on. So they just click in, and then you put these locking clips over the top. I had removed the sender harness from the frame rail, so I just clipped that back in, and then yeah, the locking ring, I mean, I just drifted that back in as well. I didn't have replacement locking rings. Maybe if I was planning on you know, holding on to the truck longer term, I would have done that, but really not really needed for this project. I mean, you know, trucks down here in Florida, there is some scale on the truck from when it lived in the Midwest for a bit, but honestly, it's really not too bad. So yeah, I'm just gonna get on and get this fuel filter replaced, and then let's see if it starts up. All right, so here's the fuel filter. This one's looking pretty crusty under here. Uses the same quick disconnect fuel lines, and it's just mounted on this spring clip here. I opted to get a Motorcraft Ford replacement just to make sure it fit without issue. And to be honest, it costs like $1 or $2 more than a generic brand. So yeah, we're gonna pop this off, hopefully, and put the new one in. And I think at that point we should be in a place where, you know, we have 2 new fuel pumps and a new fuel filter, and hopefully that gets us where we need to be with the fuel system service we've been doing. Alright, so filter's out. Pretty old by the looks of it, but thought I'd show why I think it's time to replace it. So you can see that is a black-brown color. So I'm guessing that thing's pretty much done. Anyway, I'm going to put the new Motorcraft one in here, and then we'll be ready to give it a try. Alright, well, there it is. Again, these just push on and click into place, and then basically the fuel pressure from the fuel system, once it's primed, will lock everything down. So yeah, not too bad. Just clips into place. But like I said, went with the Motorcraft brand and definitely made for an easy install. Definitely worth a couple bucks to me. So with that, we're gonna give it a try and see how it does.
All right, we just finished testing. The truck is working perfectly. The hot start issue was resolved, and we also have the sender working properly for the rear tank. Both pumps work properly, so now when you flip the switch, it runs great. We just removed a little bit of bad gas from the rear tank because it hadn't been working for quite some time, but the after pumping that out and putting some fresh in there, it behaved nicely. So we are now going to get to putting the bed back on here and getting it all bolted back up together, and it should be good to go for another 100,000 miles or so. So we will get back to it, and we'll catch up with you once it's all back together. Okay, we have the truck back together. The bed is back on, and we have also actually put the toolbox that came with the truck when we first got it back in the bed as well. We had taken it out for a little while because we were using the truck to haul full-length lumber and stuff like that for quite a while. But now that part of its duty cycle is past us, that makes sense to go back in. Everything went back together pretty much without a hitch. The truck is working great. And the nice thing was, having the bed off, it let us inspect, all of the hoses and connectors and wiring underneath there, just to make sure everything was as it should be. And it was. It was actually remarkably clean under there, barring some just road dirt and dust. I would definitely say that removing the bed is the way to go when it comes to doing the fuel pump service. It's definitely a lot more straightforward than trying to drop the tanks, removing those straps and everything like that. You'd be working in a really tight enclosed space, whereas by removing the bed, it's super straightforward. You have all this access, and again, it lets you check everything while you're in there. So job took probably about, I would say, a total of 3 to 4 hours. Definitely wanted to have at least one, if not a couple of people to assist you with getting the bed off and back on again. But other than that, relatively straightforward. So let us know if this helped you out in the comments, and please do like and subscribe. It really does help us out. And on top of that, we do work on this truck and similar ones, along with the Jags, the Classics, and a bunch of other vehicles. So some pretty cool content, and we obviously really appreciate it when you do that. So check in for the next video, and we'll see you then.